Yes, everybody, Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. If you're new, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. Why don't you? And also check out kneesupbumperbrand.com. It's the Hammers Headlines in association with the KUMB.com boys. 3 stories, and let's start with the first one. It's the title screen, and it's going to talk about this guy, Kareem The Dream. In terms of the Galatasaray midfielder, Kareem Aktürkoğlu. I'm sure it's pronounced a lot better than me, obviously. But according to several media outlets, including the Turkish media outlet, the Daily Sabah, which sounds great, reported yesterday that West Ham have placed the Galatasaray midfielder on their target list ahead of the January transfer window. The report also said that Arsenal and Spurs were also interested. Kareem scored for Galatasaray against Man United last week in their 3-2 victory at Old Trafford in the Champions League. He scored the equalising goal before Icardi scored the relatively, well, it says the report's a shock third goal, but it wasn't really a shock. They were quite good, Galatasaray, but apparently that's opened up more people to look at Kareem in more detail. So far, he's been on really good form: 5 goals and 6 assists, 11 goal contributions so far in all competitions this year for Galatasaray. So you can see why people are interested in him. Galatasaray don't have to sell him. They're not in no rush to cash in on him, despite buying a plethora of players, including the likes of Zaha, obviously Icardi, people like that. They're not skint at the moment. And actually, Kareem has a contract with the Turkish side until 2026. However, if a Premier League club comes calling with a good offer, then it might be too much of a offer they cannot resist. I don't know why I just jumped into Godfather then, but he's been capped by Turkey 22 times at senior level. And what's quite interesting is he operates on the left-hand side of midfield, which is an area I think we need to have some dedicated resource. I think we've got that on the right-hand side. We've got it in midfield. But on the left-hand side, we have Ben Rama. But we've been playing Paqueta there, haven't we? And I think actually Paqueta's talents are more centrally and in the middle of the park rather than necessarily on the left wing. So Kareem could be our dream at West Ham. However, the consequence of losing, of bringing in someone like Kareem would mean a potential out in terms of, bring one out to bring one in. Obviously, Ben Rama is someone who's been linked with a departure. And also this guy, Pablo Fornals, according to a lot of sources, including, Sean Winston's mentioned that actually he's rejected the chance of a new deal at West Ham, and in effect his contract runs out at the end of next summer. So if West Ham are to be smart, maybe it's time to cash in on Fornals in January rather than let him leave in the summer for nothing at all. Sevilla are very hot on Fornals, as we reported several times. In that they were hopeful that West Ham would accept a negligible offer for the Spanish international in order to get some profitability, they called it, rather than avoid leaving him leaving in summer on a free transfer. He could sign a pre-contract agreement with Sevilla in January, as it would be entering the last 6 months of his contract. The reports in El Sevillista wrote that Sevilla are already in advanced plans for their January market and have placed Fornals at the top of their target list as they look to bolster their squad as they to qualify for Europe next season. He's obviously had a limited role in the side, and his current squad status could mean that he's ready to quit in January. To be honest, in recent weeks, I think the Spaniard has looked and certainly played like a man who knows he's going to be playing his football elsewhere. In my humble opinion, he looks distant, which is a shame because he's a lovely fellow, but he's been put out onto that left-hand side. That's never been his position. His position is more central. Sevilla will probably give him a more central position, despite the fact signing people like Isco and stuff. They still rate Pablo Fornals very highly. Obviously, we bought him from Villarreal as a number 10, and maybe that's where he's looking to get back into. So if it could mean that we get some money for Fornals and that goes towards a move for someone like Kareem, I don't think that's a bad changing of the guard. Obviously, a younger player, and in terms of Kareem, and someone who's more suited towards that left-hand side. Unfortunately, that's the way football is, and you might not agree with how Fornals has been used, but for me, he doesn't get into the centre side at the moment ahead of the likes of JWP, Alvarez, even Souček scoring goals. He's not going to be replaced. Moyes is not going to replace him, Souček, for Fornals if Souček's scoring goals. Plain and simple. If you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. We're not the ones in the dugout. We're the ones Russ Green who are picking him. But we'll see what happens come January. The ironic thing is obviously AFCONs will be without the likes of Benrahma, the likes of Kudus, the likes of Cornet, all left-sided players. We actually would need Pablo there, or at least bring in a left-sided player to then allow Fornals to go to Sevilla, go back to his homeland and have 6 months and maybe get back into the Spanish squad potentially. Yeah, he's a fantastic player. Play him in the right position with the right team around him, and he could get back to his levels that we saw at the beginning of his time at West Ham. As you mentioned, internationals, lots of internationals. Another international break, aren't we, in now? With another one in November, you lucky buggers. But we've got up to 11 first teamers out on international duty at the moment. So I thought I'd give you a little rundown. You lucky people. They'll be representing their country for major tournament qualifiers as well as international friendlies. So, for example, obviously you know Jared Bowen. He'll be looking to add to his 4 caps with England in the 2 games that they have in the next fortnight. Czech Republic. 2 of Vladimir Coufal and Thomas Souček will be in UEFA Euro qualifying action. They will play Albania on Thursday and then welcome the Faroe Islands on Sunday. So a double header for them. We in Group B, Dinos Mavropanos will be helping Greece hopefully qualify for the finals. They'll be playing Republic of Ireland in Dublin before welcoming the Netherlands to Athens on Tuesday. Also in that same group is France with Alphonse Areola. Obviously, we know that Deschamps has not picked Zuma, which pretty much curtails the end of his international career, sadly. But I'd rather keep him at West Ham rather than in Cotton Wool, to be fair. But France travel to Amsterdam on Friday, and then they have a friendly against Scotland on Tuesday. One of the sort of noticeable sort of inclusions is Callum Marshall, the academy youngster and current PL2 league goal scorer, I believe. He has been called up for Northern Ireland. He already has 1 international cap already in June. That was received. And the 18-year-old is hoping to get some more minutes under his belt. Northern Ireland plays San Marino and also Slovenia on Saturday and Tuesday. So both in qualifying matches. So maybe the San Marino game might get some minutes potentially. Who knows? Elsewhere, it could be a battle of the summer signings as Edson Alvarez and Mohamed Kudus come up against each other in an international clash in the USA. So Mexico play Ghana in North Carolina. There we go. Makes sense. In the early hours of Sunday morning rather. Then they'll both be in action early on the Wednesday as Alvarez's Mexico take on Germany in the United States, and Kudus play the USA, both in the United States. So there's sort of a little international tournament over there. Aged will be back with Morocco in October in the international break too. They take on the Ivory Coast. I don't believe Cornet has been called up for that in a friendly before returning to Morocco to play Liberia. Former West Ham hammer Peter Butler was the manager of Liberia at one time. and they play Liberia on Tuesday. Mikel Antonio's linking up with the Canadians. He could do, but he's Jamaican. Linking up with the Jamaican squad during the international break. They're scheduled to play a CONCACAF Nations League match against Grenada in Friday, and then they play Haiti on Monday. And finally, Saïd Benrahma and Algeria will play 2 international friendlies this international break at home against Cape Verde, and then they will be playing Egypt in Abu Dhabi on Monday. Abu Dhabi do. And that's it, my friends. As I said, don't forget to check out the kneesupmotherbrand.com, boys, for all your lovely stuff, all your latest news and reviews. We'll be having some content, some different things coming over the next week. So hopefully some interviews and some brand new shows as well starting soon. So keep an eye out for the channel. I think you'll really enjoy them as well. So take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, my friends, and I'll see you very, very soon. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.